Hey there, wonderful metrics. Welcome to Educate. Let us talk about river capture. What is river capture? River capture is simply when a more energetic river captures some of the water of a less energetic river. So basically, we have got one river that has got more energy, and then we have got another river that has got less energy, and the one that has got more energy steals the water of the one that has got less energy. But before we get there, we need to first look at headward erosion. What is headward erosion? In my previous video on the river profile, I've already covered vertical erosion. I've already covered lateral erosion. Now we need to tackle headward erosion. Headward erosion is otherwise known as backward erosion. So whenever you see headward or backward erosion, they imply the same thing. This is when a river is actually eroding towards a source, or a river is eroding backwards. It is actually eroding opposite to the direction to which it flows. Let us look at this. This is an image of a river that is basically flowing towards that direction. So in other ways, we can just say it is flowing to the right, to my right, of course, to my right in the screen. So the direction of flow of the river is towards the right, but the river will erode backwards towards the left. What actually causes this? Let us analyze. As this water falls here, you can see that here we have got hard rock. The other name or the other term that they can use to refer to hard rock is a resistant rock. They can say more resistant rock. And then beneath the more resistant rock, we have got the softer rock. So we'll just remove those labels. So now what is actually happening here? What will actually happen here is that as the water is moving to the right in this direction, it will actually erode backwards. It means that it will cut off some of the ground here. How would that look like? Do you see that here the water has cut off some of the softer rock? So the actual river is moving towards the right, but it is eroding backwards. It is eroding opposite to its flow, towards its source. This is actually due to this softer rock. So basically headward erosion is caused by the softer rocks that is undercut backwards. Because this rock is not so resistant, the water is able to remove it, or is able to erode it or wash it away. So now do you realize that the hard rock is resistant, so it was not washed away by the water. But now, because the softer rock that was beneath the hard rock, remember there was softer rock all in this place. Now this hard rock remains unbalanced, or it is left hanging because the softer rock has been eroded away through the process of backwards or headward erosion. So this hard rock is left unsupported such that it also falls off. So this layer of hard rock that remains after headward erosion will eventually fall off into this pool. So this is known as headward erosion. Basically, the river is eroding opposite to its direction. It's eroding backwards, whereas it is moving forwards. Now, knowing the headward erosion, we can now look at the river capture or the stream piracy. So let us assume we have got two rivers in our scenario. We have got river A, and then we have got river B. So river A, it is the one that is here at a higher lying area, and then river B, it's a river at a lower lying area. Remember that two rivers are separated, or two drainage basins are separated by a watershed. So this higher lying area, or this hilly like place between these two rivers, is known as the watershed. So the watershed basically separates two drainage basins, or it basically separates two rivers. Let us look at the direction of flow of the following rivers. River A is flowing towards that direction. And river B is also flowing towards the same direction. But now, what will happen? River B will erode backwards. River B will erode backwards. To be particular, we are talking about this stream here. You can see this tributary here that is joining river B. It is actually moving towards here to join with the river B, but it will start eroding backwards, or that would be headward erosion. So it will erode and continue expanding, but it will be moving backwards. Remember, backwards erosion, it is opposite to where the river is flowing. The river is actually flowing in this direction, but the erosion that will take place will be in the opposite direction. The erosion that will take place will be in the opposite direction. So it will continue eroding, and it will erode even through this higher ground, which is the watershed. And there it is. It steals the waters of river A, such that river A will be just left as a smaller stream. So note what has happened here. This stream here from river B eroded headwards erosion through the watershed, and then it was able to keep eroding. It kept eroding until it reached river A. And then when it caught up with the river A, the water from river A stopped moving forward in its initial direction. It stops moving forward in this direction that we had labeled at first. So river A started flowing towards river B. So river A started flowing towards river B. So this is stream piracy. This is river capture. That's why we say that here, the more energetic river steals the waters of the less energetic river. So in this particular case, B is a more energetic river, whereas A is a less energetic river. So now there are features that you can look at for river capture. So basically, this is where river capture has occurred. So at this particular position that I'm highlighting here, this is where river capture has occurred. This is where stream A started to turn and flow towards stream B. This place is known as an elbow of capture. So this is known as an elbow of capture. It's just a curved place whereby river A started changing its direction and started moving towards river B, or flowing towards river B. So this is known as an elbow of capture. I'll give this a label F. So that will be my elbow of capture. And then now, one more thing that we have here is a capture stream. So river B, we say, is known as a capture stream. Remember, I've said that river B is the more energetic stream because it is the one that steals the waters of river A. So it's a more energetic stream. It is known as a capture stream. It is the one that steals the waters of the river A. Whereas river A, we say, is known as a captured stream. It's a captured stream because it is the one whose waters are being stolen. It is the one that changes direction, because remember that initially river A was moving in this direction. It was moving downwards towards this direction. But because of river capture, because of river B that is eroded through the watershed, river A started changing its direction. So A is a captured stream. It has been captured. Its waters have been changed direction and towards B. So basically, the A is a captured stream. So now, let us look briefly at how the watershed is eroded, because we've said that the capture stream, which is river B in this case, the more energetic stream, the one that erodes through the watershed, it actually erodes through the watershed. Let us look at how that happens. So it was able to erode through the watershed, and all the way it reached river A. How was it able to do that? So let us say this is my watershed, and then we have got river B on this side. And then on the other side, we have got river A. Remember, we have said that river B is more energetic because it's the one that is capturing. So B is the more energetic river. So this one is a more energetic river. It is flowing this direction, whereas A, we're going to refer to it as a less energetic river. So we've got a more energetic river and a less energetic river on either sides of the watershed. So this is the higher ground or the higher lying area, this one, that is separating the two rivers. This is it. We are drawing it again. This is our watershed. This is our watershed. So now, since we've said that river B is more energetic and it will erode headwards, it will erode vertically through the watershed. It just simply means that river B will cut through the watershed. It will cut through the watershed. How would that look like? When river B cuts through the watershed will end up being so small. Do you realize that here the watershed is actually shifted its position because of the headwards erosion that river B is doing towards this towards the watershed? Because the watershed initially it was at this position. So just to highlight that, at first it was at this position. This was the position of the watershed. But because of the headwards erosion that has occurred due to this more energetic river, which is river B, the watershed has been lowered its position and it has been shifted. So that process is known as abstraction. So we define abstraction as the lowering. So the first important thing is to say abstracting is the lowering of the watershed. So the watershed or that high-lying ground that separates two rivers is being lowered. It is being made to be shorter because remember, it was here on top, but now it is here at the bottom. It is now shorter. It is no longer a higher lying ground. It is being lowered. And the other thing, its position was also shifted. So there is a lowering of the watershed and there's also a shifting of the position of the watershed. Because initially or at first, the watershed was at this position. But because of the headward erosion, the watershed it is now at this new position. So there are two things that have happened there. There is lowering of the watershed as well as the shifting of its position. That process is known as abstraction. You must know how to define it. So since we have said that the elbow of capture, it is where the river A turns and starts going towards river B or starts flowing towards river B. Remember, river A initially, it was flowing in that direction. At first, it was flowing towards that direction. So since river A it is now flowing towards river B, there is a small stream from river A that will remain. This stream has lost its water because basically the water is now going towards river B. It is no longer going in that direction. So this smaller stream that will remain here, it is known as a misfit stream. So I will label that as C. That's a misfit stream. So the misfit stream, it is actually coming from the captured stream because A was a captured stream. It has lost its waters to B because it has started flowing towards B. So this part of A here, this forward part of A, will remain a misfit stream. So we say it's known as a misfit stream. It has lost its water. And then now we realize that there is a space. There is a space between this misfit stream, this smaller stream that has remained, and the elbow of capture. So there is a bit of space between them. So the gap or the space between the elbow of capture and this misfit stream, just this gap which I'm highlighting, is known as a wind gap. So the wind gap is just that smaller space between the misfit stream and the elbow of capture. So this is how river capture occurs, basically. Now, let us look at the common diagrams that they use to question you in exams. So this is the most common diagram and easiest to interpret. We have got two streams, basically. We have got two streams and they are separated by a watershed. So if we look carefully in this diagram, we have got this stream here and then it has got its tributaries, but it has got a tributary that is extending outwards. This is labeled stream A in this particular diagram. And then here is a written watershed. Remember, the watershed is the highline ground that is separating two rivers. So we expect to see another river on the other side. And in this case, this is stream B. So this is our other river. So we've got two streams or two rivers. But we can see that A is actually extending into the watershed. Here is a written headward erosion. Once you see headward erosion, you already know that here the capital stream, it is trying to erode through the watershed and steal the water of the captured stream. So now look at it. After river capture, analyzing after river capture. The stream that was painted here in maroon is still this one. This is the stream that was painted in maroon. So now this stream A here, you see that it has extended through the watershed and it has stolen the waters of stream A, stream B, because stream B initially, it was just moving freely downwards towards that direction. But now here is your stream B. It has been cut off. It's no longer moving in that direction. Its water starts moving towards stream A. So we can say that A has captured B. And now to identify now the features of river capture here, we have got C, which is a wind gap, because you can see that here basically we have got a space between an elbow of capture, because basically here this is the elbow of capture. It's a written elbow of capture. This is where the river started turning and going the other direction. So the gap after that elbow of capture is known as a wind gap. So C has to be our wind gap in this particular case. This is our wind gap. Whereas D will be our misfit stream, because remember at first stream B was moving in that direction, but its water has been stolen. So it will remain as a small stream that has lost its water. Some part of it will remain as a small stream, and this will be a misfit stream. So this is the most common common diagram that they like to use in your exams. So look at this other one. This one is a bit more complex, but it is still having the same ideas. So in this one, you are given before river capture and after river capture. So before river capture, there is a label here written watershed, and it is represented using dots. So this is a dot, this is a dot, this is another dot, and all these dots are representing the watershed. So the moment you see a watershed, you know that it is separating two rivers. You just need to identify which are the rivers. So in this case, which ones are the rivers that we're having in question? So looking at this, we have got A, the label A. The label A is showing a river, the one that I'm highlighting in blue, and its arrow is towards that direction. So the river is actually flowing towards that direction. So we have the direction of flow of the river. So stream A, it is flowing in that direction. And then now you realize that here is a written area of headward erosion. So there is headward erosion taking place. Whenever there is headward erosion, you already know that there is backwards erosion. The river is eroding back at its source. So if you look carefully here, if we can just zoom in carefully, this stream A, it is moving towards this direction downwards. But here is a written area of headward erosion. So it will actually erode backwards through the watershed. You can see these dots represent the watershed. So it will erode through the watersheds to capture this stream that is the other side. I'm sure people can identify that black stream. So we have got another stream on the other side. Here we go. So we have another stream here. So this is a stream. So this is a stream. This is a stream. And then if you see after river capture, this stream that we had here, maybe if we can name it stream X, it has changed its direction. Remember, it was moving in this direction, the stream that we have had here, but now it changes its direction and it now flows towards stream A. It now flows towards stream A. Why is it flowing towards stream A? It is because stream A has captured the water. River capture has occurred. So stream A has captured the water. So now you just need to identify the labels. We have got the captured stream. So we say this is known as the captured stream. This blue one, it is because it is the one that whose waters has been stolen. And then we have got a label C there. Label C would have to be our elbow of capture. This have to be our elbow of capture, because that is where you can see the captured stream is changing direction and it is now flowing towards river A. So basically a C is our elbow of capture. And then here you have been given the label to be a wind gap. So they have already told you that this is a wind gap. And then the last part, B, has to be the misfit stream, because this is the stream that has lost its water after river capture. So this is one of the other common diagrams that they can use to represent river capture. Here's another one. This one is a bit more complex. You need to analyze carefully so that you can see everything. So now here you have got a stream Y. Look at this first scenario. So 15.2 says refer to the sketches that indicate the river capture process. So you've got two sketches here. You know that one sketch is before river capture, and then the second sketch is after river capture. And now here is another way of seeing things. You can see here that there is a stream, which is stream Y. There is a stream Y. If I can just highlight it, this is the stream. So this is a stream, and then this is stream Y. I'll just zoom in so that everyone can see. You need to look carefully when it comes to this. This is the stream. So I hope people can see that. So if we can just zoom into this image, you can see that this is a stream, which is stream Y. It has got its tributaries joining and joining and joining. We can see that stream Y, it is flowing towards that direction. It is flowing towards that direction. It is coming out towards that direction. And then now, next to it, we see a stream, another stream, which is stream S here. And then this stream S has got two tributaries here. Two tributaries joining to form stream S. But there is a hint there. There is a keyword written soft rock. So if we can zoom in perfectly there, it's a written soft rock. The fact that it's written soft rock, we already know that stream S is eroding backwards so that it can capture stream Y. So we already know that there's soft rock. Remember that the headward erosion is promoted by the soft rock that is easily eroded or that is easily undercutted when the water is flowing forward. So basically this will be backward erosion. So stream S will try to erode backwards and capture stream Y. And you can see that in the second image, that is the true case. In the second image, that is the true case. Stream Y has been captured. So stream Y, here it is. And now it changes its direction. It starts going towards S. So it starts going towards stream S. All its tributaries will start going towards stream S. So we can say that a river capture has occurred successfully then. So now we can just highlight stream S once more with purple. This was our stream S. This was our stream S. But now you can see that it has got more water, and some of the water it is coming from stream Y. So stream Y has been captured. So stream S, which was our capture stream that went through the soft rock, it has captured stream Y. And A will be the what? The elbow of capture, because that's where river capture has occurred. You can see that that's where Y changed its direction and started go flowing towards S. And then B will be a wind gap because it's just the space here. And then here, this will be our misfit stream. This remaining portion will be our misfit stream, which is not labeled in this particular diagram. So this is one of a common diagrams that I found in your examinations. Another common one is this one. This one is a bit easier to see. We have got here a stream J and we are given a key. The arrows represents the direction of flow of the streams. They're just telling us where are the streams flowing towards. So here we have got a stream flowing in that direction. And we have got here is labeled stream J. So stream J, it is flowing in that direction. So as stream J, it is flowing in that direction. We also see another stream, and then this is stream K. Stream K, it is flowing in that direction. It is actually flowing away. It is flowing away from the picture in that direction. So as stream K, it is flowing in that direction. We have got another thing that we can look at as well. So here we have got a dotted line, and then it has got an arrow at the end. At the key, it is written headward erosion. So we already know that stream K, it is eroding backwards because it is actually flowing in that direction. It's flowing in that direction as my arrow indicates, but the arrow for headward erosion is going opposite to it. So this is backward erosion. It is eroding backwards so that it can capture stream J. And you can see after river capture in situation number 2, here this is stream J, it is now flowing towards stream K. So stream J, it is now flowing towards stream K. So stream J immediately starts flowing towards. It now changes its direction and flows towards stream K. So L here is to be our elbow of capture because that's where river capture is located. L has to be our elbow of capture because that's where the river started changing direction and started flowing towards stream K. And then stream J has to be a misfit stream because this has lost its water since J started changing direction and flowing in the direction of K. So M will be our wind gap, the space between this misfit stream J and then this elbow of capture, which is L. So this is one of the diagrams, this is one of the images that they can use to represent to you the river capture. Let's look at the last one. This is the last one that I could find that they can use to also represent river capture. This one is pretty simple because you've got a stream A here. In this one, you've got a stream A here. And then you have got another stream, which is stream B. So you've got two streams. The moment you see two rivers, you already know that we are illustrating river capture. So in this case, I've painted one with maroon, another one with green. So here we have got a red stream and we've got a green one. So now we can see that it is actually eroding towards B. A is eroding towards B. So in other ways, A is trying to capture stream B. So A is the captor stream. It is trying to capture. It is trying to move towards. It is trying to move towards stream B. So it is eroding. Here they didn't even give us a key, but we can see that A is trying to erode. And after river capture, you can see that now it has eroded successfully and it has stolen the waters of river B. Now the river changes direction. So basically, the river, which was a river B initially, starts changing direction. It won't flow in its initial direction. It will now change direction and flow towards stream A because stream A has captured its water. Stream A has stolen its water because it's more energetic. So we can identify now the features of river capture that we have in this particular scenario. In this case, we have got part D. Part D, we have got part D. Part D here will represent the elbow of capture. So here we have got an elbow of capture. Why do we say it's an elbow of capture? Simply because we can see that here, this stream D started changing direction and moving towards stream A at this point D. So the point D is the elbow of capture. And then the point E, it is the wind gap. It is the small space in between. And then C is a misfit stream. C is a misfit stream because it has lost its water. So these are the possible images that they can use to represent river capture in your NSC exams. I hope that this video was helpful for you, ladies and gentlemen. In our next video, we'll be looking at the causes of river capture as well as the impacts. Thank you for watching, ladies and gentlemen. Tell your friends to stay tuned.